Hello everyone, this is Rishabh and you are watching Company360.in.
और इसलिए मैं कहता हूं कुछ बनने के सपने मत देखो, कुछ करने के सपने देखो।
Today we will be talking about intellectual property in food business and IPR benefits for startups in India. In India, the startup initiative was envisioned by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his speech on August 15, 2015, and subsequently was launched on January 16, 2016. Since the inception of the initiative, startups in India have flourished and these innovative, adaptive and technological driven entities have made their imprint in the Indian economy. The same was duly acknowledged by PM Modi recently when he remarked that the startups have changed the demographic character of India and that while the world struggled, an army of startups came up in India during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to statistics, at present, there are 45,107 departments for promotion of industry and internal trade (DPIIT) recognized startups in India. Startup India in numbers. Startups in the Indian food industry, the rise of alternative protein innovation, the advent of technological advancement and subsequent penetration of the internet in India has led to mushrooming of food tech startups in India. The COVID-19 pandemic further catalyzed the expansion of this sector in India. As a result, food tech startups have emerged as one of the most viable platforms for food and grocery delivery services in India. A report by the Digital Food Lab indicates an increase in investments in food tech startups in India. Similarly, the Indian food processing industry is also growing by leaps and bounds, and Indian food startups are playing an instrumental role in transforming the whole food industry landscape in India. Innovation in food technology and evolution of smart protein. Smart protein is an emerging innovation in food technology that addresses multiple concerns ranging from sustainability, consumer demand for protein, animal welfare, food security, etc. Since 2015, more than 35 companies have emerged in the smart protein sector in India. Smart protein, also known as alternative protein, are products which can reliably and predictably substitute animal-derived meat, eggs, and dairy by replacing the sensorial organoleptic properties of traditional meat, eggs, and dairy. Innovators create these products directly from plant cells or microorganisms. The product falls under the three main categories. Plant-based protein. Plant-based protein, meat, eggs, and dairy products where the proteins are delivered from plant sources, such as the Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger, or plant-based chicken nugget or peanut curd in India. Cultivated protein. Cultivated protein products are produced by cultivating a sample of animal cells by bypassing the raising and slaughtering of animals to produce meat and meat products. Cultivated meat is also known as cultured, cell-based, and clean meat in other countries. Fermentation-derived protein. Fermentation-derived foods such as dahi, idli, yogurt are not new in India. But proteins that are derived from biomass fermentation or precision fermentation is a relatively novel process that is currently emerging in India. The growing innovation in the alternative protein industry is attracting financial growth and investor support in India and worldwide. Due to this growing interest, there is a great potential for individuals and companies looking to invest their resources, time and effort in alternative protein. Due to the vast financial investments and innovative efforts in this relatively new industry, there are various intellectual property rights considerations and how they can be protected. SIPP scheme and IPR benefits for startups in India. Startups Intellectual Property Protection, commonly known as SIPP, aims to promote awareness and adoption of intellectual property rights among startups. The scheme is inclined to nurture and mentor innovative and emerging technologies among startups and assist them in protecting and commercializing it by providing them access to high-quality IP services and resources. The Startup Action Plan released on January 16, 2016 envisaged several benefits for startups in India, and one such benefit was the IPR benefits and facilitation for startups in India. Hence, one of the action points was to promote awareness and adoption of IPRs by startups and facilitate them in protecting and commercializing the IPRs by providing access to high-quality intellectual property services and resources, including fast-track examination of patent applications and rebate in fees. IPR benefit for startups in 5 years in numbers. A booklet released by the government capturing the 5-year story of startups in India reports that there has been an 87% increase in IPR registrations by startups over a period of 3 years from 2017 to 2020. It also provides that 5,020 patent applications have been filed. 1,170 patent applications filed for expedited examination by startups. Of these, 884 applications have been examined and 459 patents have been granted. 12,264 trademark applications have been filed. 510 patents and designs facilitators and 392 trademarks facilitators empaneled under the SIPP scheme. Startup registration for availing IPR benefits. In order to claim benefits under the SIPP scheme, it is mandatory for the startup applicant to process Certificate of Recognition from DPIIT, earlier DIPP. The Certificate of Recognition shall be submitted with the Indian Patent Office (IPO) at the time of filing patent, design, or trademark application. Empanelment of IP facilitators. Prior to the introduction of the SIPP scheme and subsequent empanelment of IPR facilitators under the scheme, the startups often suffered from inadequate guidance from lawyers and agents who were not proficient in IP laws and drafting of patent applications. However, after the appointment of IPR facilitators for effective implementation of the scheme, the startups can take assistance of qualified IPR professionals for filing and prosecution of their IPRs. And they also do not have to pay them any fee to the IP facilitators, as they are paid nominal professional fee directly by the government through the Office of the Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks (CGPDTM). However, officially, a statutory fee for filing patent, trademark and design application shall be borne to the startup itself. IPR benefits for startups. Reduction in cost in IP filings. There is 80% reduction in the cost of filing patents in India. Patent and design application filed under startup category DPIIT recognized, that is, startups as the applicant. The applicant has to bear only the official fee or statutory fee incurred for filing patent and design application with the Indian Patent Office till registration of the design. No professional charges are required to be paid. The government will bear all facilitator fees. Fast tracking of patent applications is possibly by filing a request for expedited examination, which mandates the controller to issue the first examination report (FER) within 105 days when the expedited examination request is accepted. Granting of patents is expedited and reduced to less than a year from 5 years to 7 years. Easy access to funds. The government has set up a 10,000 crore rupees fund to the startups as venture capital. The government is also giving guarantee to the leaders to encourage banks and other financial institutions for providing venture capital. Tax exemption. Startups will be exempted from income tax for 3 years subject to providing certification from under Ministerial Board (IMB). Relaxation in public procurement norms. A DPIIT registered startup may bid for the government contracts with fewer eligibility requirements. They are exempted from the prior experience turnover criteria applicable for normal companies answering to the government tenders. That is, a startup can avail exemptions on earnest money deposit (EMD), prior turnover and experience, which are generally required while applying for government tenders. Self-certification. Any private limited company, per law, is ordinarily bound by labor and employment laws, and therefore officers are required to inspect the company concerning the registration of establishments, maintenance of establishments in terms of safety norms, compliance with employee beneficial norms like payment of gratuity and insurance cover. However, startups are allowed to self-certify their compliance under 6 labor laws and 3 environment laws. This benefit is allowed for 5 years from the date of the incorporation of the entity and is given to reduce the regulatory burden for startups so that they can focus on their core business and keep compliance costs low. Easy winding up of company. Startups, also known as fast-track firms, can be wound up and within 90 days as against 180 days for their companies. Undeniably, the food startup sector in India is all set to witness unprecedented growth and huge investments await their way. However, this sector booming with ideas and concepts shall take cautious steps in protecting their ideas and statutorily protect their intellectual property rights. The Indian government, under the Startup India initiative, is taking several steps to make the ecosystem more conducive for filing and protection of IPRs by startups, and figures indicating an increase in IPR filings by startups is a testimony to the same. Want to get legal services for yourself? Company360.in provides you with all the necessities required for these procedures for a very reasonable price. If you still have some questions, feel free to put them down in the comments section. Or you can find us at www.company360.in or email us at info@company360.in, or you may even call us at 964-334-0938. Thanks everyone for listening. This was Rishabh. Until next time.